Can fairness and justice prevail when the scales are tipped against certain groups from the very beginning? This is a question we must ask ourselves as we delve into the issue of racial bias and exploitation of immigrant workers in state workers' compensation systems. In the land of dreams and opportunities, a startling reality persists. A reality where racial disparities are not only evident but are deeply entrenched within our systems. A reality where the color of one's skin or their country of origin determines how they are treated when injured on the job. Recent studies have painted a grim picture of the state of affairs. They reveal that workers of color and immigrants are more likely to work in dangerous jobs, more likely to get injured, and when they do, they receive less compensation than their white counterparts. A clear sign of systemic racial bias that is not only unjust but also inhumane. For instance, a study from the University of California, Los Angeles found that Latino immigrants have the highest rate of workplace fatalities. This is a stark reminder of the exploitation that immigrant workers face daily. The lack of legal protection and the fear of retaliation often force them to work in unsafe conditions, leading to a higher rate of workplace accidents and deaths. But what does this mean for our society? It means that the very systems meant to protect the rights of workers are failing a significant portion of the workforce. It means that the promise of equal opportunity and protection under the law is not being fulfilled. The implications are far-reaching, and the need for legal reforms is urgent. We must call for federal oversight of state workers' compensation systems. We must demand that these systems are free from racial bias and that they protect all workers, regardless of their race or immigration status. This is not an issue that can be resolved overnight or by a single entity. It requires the collective efforts of lawmakers, advocates, and the public. We urge progressive Democrats, faith leaders like the Poor People's Campaign's Reverend William Barber, the Green Party's Cornel West running for president, their U.S. candidate Jason Call for Congress in Washington state, U.S. Representative Pramila Jayapal, and the Biden administration to lend their support to this cause. In conclusion, as we reflect on the state of workers' compensation systems, we must remember that the fight for justice and equality is far from over. The time for dialogue and deliberation has passed. The time for action is now. We must stand up against racial bias and exploitation not just because it's the right thing to do, but because it's the only way to ensure a just and equitable society. Remember, in the fight for justice, there are no bystanders, only participants. Let us all participate actively and wholeheartedly.